Hello, it is Allura here from the Sacred Gates, and I am just going to be doing an answering Q&A for this one. And someone has asked, in what ways can working with spirits help individuals grow spiritually, mentally, and emotionally? It really depends on everything. Again, it's always related to many things, such as your skill, your awareness, your level of awareness, your intention, why you are working with the spirits, and how aware are you, how discerning, in other words, are you of the intention of the spirit that you're working with, and what level of abilities, how kind of high can you go, what is your highest point, and what's the intention behind that highest point. And so if you're working with the spirit, we have to understand that everything that we're working with, whether that it's an exchange, it's a transaction. And so a spirit that you're working with, if that spirit or deity even is still in the consciousness of contractual transactional exchange, so if you do this for me, I'll do this for you, or if you offer me this and pray to me in this way and worship me in this way, I will give you this. Or if you do this and eat this way and do your practices this way, then I will give you these qualities and these feelings and this insight and knowledge. Then that's all based on contracts. Now, when you enter into a contract, it is of a certain frequency. It's a certain resonance of consciousness and of light, and you can go higher than that. So you will get deities, for example, that are no longer working in that level. They're no longer part of that contractual mindset. They're no longer part of a hierarchy. They have transcended hierarchy. And so working with spirits who have transcended hierarchies is completely different to working with spirits who are still in that hierarchical structure. And so if you're working with spirits who are still working contractually in transaction mode in a hierarchy with you, then they may be able to help you spiritually, mentally, and emotionally, but it may come at a cost to you, and it can easily become entangled it really depends on what you want. So if you're looking for really pure experiences, then you're not probably going to find them. Everything's a spectrum. So if you think about people being spirits, in a sense, you can meet someone who doesn't have very good character, their values are a little bit sketchy, they're a little bit creepy, and so if you go into a transaction with them on some level, whether it's financial or just doing something with them, a massage even, something like that, then you are receiving the frequencies from them. That becomes part of the transaction. It's interlinked with you. And so that's the same with spirits. On the other hand, if you're meeting someone, to say human, who has really great character, who's really striving, to be a good person, and they're honest and they have these great traits and ethics, and you want someone like that to just say, look after your kids, or cook you a meal, or give you a massage, or you're happy to kind of maybe even do business with them or something like that. So it's a lot clearer and cleaner, and the quality is higher. And so it really depends on who you are and who the spirit is. So it'll really depends. You can work with spirits and really mess yourself up. You can be working in the Akashic fields, the non-dual light fields, very higher and beyond that, and still corrupt yourself and work with corrupt beings. Or you can have not those levels of ability yet and be working on a lower level, and also come into contact with spirits that don't have good intentions. You may also be developing higher and higher levels of ability, and that is noticed by both the dark and the light. Just as when you corrupt yourself and you kind of go off path, that is also noticed by the dark and the light. And so it really has to do with you ultimately, and what you're willing to do, what you're willing to get yourself into. And if you don't have a certain level of discernment, then you won't know. So it's advised to be careful of working with spirits, it can be really problematic. So for example, you're doing ayahuasca or that, I've heard about that, the frog poison combo or something like that. If you're doing alcohol, if you're drinking alcohol, taking drugs like acid or any drug, alcohol or a plant like chemicals and cactuses and things like that, and you're doing just say like meditations, and you're expanding your energy field, and you're doing lots of breathing exercises, and then you're also just say, working with crystals, and then you're also just say got some trauma that you haven't really dealt with, some kind of, that shadow stuff that we've all got, and then you also happen to start getting into kind of, energy practices that stimulate your, the fire element within you. That can very, very quickly turn into you become a magnet basically for spirits, and then you can be talking to a really low level spirit who's just looking to get something from you, and they can even play a different role, and you'll see them as something other than what they are. That's very, very common. You'll be surprised how much that happens to people. So yeah, I always answer questions like this with caution. Thanks for listening. Bye-bye for now.